write-ups, or they go, okay, yeah, it's all right. So sometimes you got to use that. So there's a the logic is a weapon. The other one is it's the authority. You got to use that as well. Usually when you have more, when you have a lot, it's not a problem. When you have little, a few, that's a problem, right? Okay, next is about. Are you there? Oh, yeah. Okay, we gotta go back. Okay, we wait for. Anyway, so this is just a quick one. So in your write-up in this thesis, you also have a statement that says the transcriptions are read carefully, line by line, in the hermeneutic process. Oh my God, you say hermeneutic? Okay. There's a whole like 6-7 different types of hermeneutics there, right? Okay. So and my brother Riza is doing hermeneutics. This is another method, right? So you might just drop that word, and it has become a method now. Well, hermeneutics is one of the oldest methodology of the law. It's a study of holy scriptures, basically. So after that, hermeneutics, right? All right. On the context and sampling, this is where this is probably the most major or the only major thing that we want to discuss here. So here you have this all the statements here. The Ulam Gardening Group Club is a WhatsApp group where its members here for ulamas learn about Ulam, health gardening. You also have underneath that WhatsApp group. So the word WhatsApp, the WhatsApp or WhatsApp group is being used there. Scroll down a bit more. Another one you were describing, I conducted a social inquiry into the meanings and motivations of Ulam consumption and edible plant gardening as practiced by members of the Ulam Gardening Club, a virtual community based in Penang. And then there's a word virtual community there, which also implies a different thing. The gardening, you have the gardening chat group became a valuable resource for gardening enthusiasts and beginners alike. So gardening chat group, there's another one. So it's a chat group, it's a WhatsApp group, it's a virtual. Therefore, the group could be described as a micro community that is interested in local food gardening lifestyle for health and enjoyment. So micro community, another one, right? No, I'm not being funny. But that's my job to see all these little things that might be a window of attack, window of risk. I selected 20 most active members of the Ulam Gardening Club as research participants. I conducted semi-structured interviews in semi-natural settings. So semi-natural settings, there's another one there. Okay. In this purposive sampling, I chose the ulamas who were somewhat vocal and contributed meaningfully to the Ulam conversation in the WhatsApp group. Secondly, I tended to approach ulamas who had more face-to-face interaction with me, with myself, and other members in the group. Thirdly, ulamas whom I felt who had contributed to shaping the hybrid community of Ulam Gardening Club were also prioritized. The ulamas were being referred to, not by their real name. So there are 3 sampling criteria. So this is the previous. So in purpose sampling, we have sampling criteria, right? So this is for us to know. So here we have here. So we go down. So examiner's perception of the research. So it's a social media, is it a club, is it a micro community, interested in local food and gardening lifestyle for health and enjoyment. So this all sounds like the criteria as well as the parameter of the case study. Yeah. So here we have the issues that we want to handle. That has to do with the sampling, has to do with the methodology as well. Because Ulam group versus ulamas. So Ulam group, if you look at it as an Ulam group, so the sampling needs to reflect either purposefully or systematically, meaning randomly, of the population of the ulam group, right? But you use the word ulamas, you're not bound by the ulam group. You know what I'm talking about, yeah. So if you select ulamas as the unit of analysis, right? So we are talking about unit analysis right now, right? Then you're not bound to select the group that represent purposely or randomly the ulam group, right? So the way I understand, which you do not want to redo your data collection, is that you're choosing a certain type of ulamas, right? So I would recommend more to use the word ulamas than ulam group.
Okay.
Right? But we'll go back to that point later on because it is a very relevant point. Social media chat members versus urban farmers. So it's related to the bottom one as well, I think. Urban farmers with digitally mediated messaging group versus messaging group who happen to, this is the point that I want to raise. Are we looking at digitally mediated messaging group versus messaging group who happen to be, who eventually became ulamas, urban farmers? So are we looking at the urban farmers or ulamas who have a messaging group or messaging group, right, meaning WhatsApp group, who are ulamas? And this is where there's a thesis strategy where we need to think about the thesis strategy here, right? Remember Dr. Azrina's critique or comment during your presentation, first one. So she was having problem with the fact that you created a group, and this group is limited to the WhatsApp group, right? I roughly remember what she was concerned about. So this is actually a study of the WhatsApp group, right? Versus a study of ulamas or ulam group, right? Now, this is my take on this one, yeah? My take on this one is that from the point of view of a social scientist, I don't really care very much about whether it's a WhatsApp group who become ulamas or ulamas who have messaging group. But from a Viva point of view, it's much better to say ulamas who are connected with the messaging group, where they have a platform to share as well. Then the thesis is not bound by the whole discourse of social media, of messaging media discourse, how it is limiting, how it's not limiting, how it can be, disruptive in communication, because that's not what this research is about. It's not about communication. Right? It's not about digital communication either. Right? It so happened that they use the digital communication that you have built to facilitate, to grow, to learn, to share the ulam practices and heritage, right? So that would be a better slant into this research, better angle, right? A better perspective, a better way to, I think, and to keep it, to lower the risk of turning this into some kind of social media analysis. This is not what, and you just miss out the whole point of this this ulam culture, ulam group, ulam heritage, ulam commoning, this. And although the WhatsApp group is like a backbone to this whole thing, right? And it's how it started now. But I'm concerned that with this the mainstreaming of social media in research right now, and a lot of research are doing social media research, and that will cloud the whole findings, right? So because you bring social media, then there's a social media discourse that comes in, it becomes a communication thing, which is fine if you want to look at that, but that's not what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Is there any problem calling it a hybrid community? In the sense that some people actually have not met each other, but some people have met each other.
Yes. Okay. Let's give a thought about that. On that matter. Okay. So there are ulamas who are part of a hybrid, who are also linked to each other through a hybrid communication, hybrid platform. Right. So we do not want to say there's two groups of people.
No.
Yeah, they're ulamas, basically just like that, right?
Because, so some people, I mean, how do these people join? It's actually through their friends, it's by word of mouth.
Yes.
So, of course, that means that they already know somebody in the group. That's how they join. But at the same time, some people have not met each other, so the only place they know them is on this WhatsApp platform.
That's right, yes. Yeah, I guess the word is the hybrid. It's fine, hybrid. Yeah, hybrid community, because it's what is it? Yeah, because the point I want to highlight there is that the hybrid. Let me really think about it. Yeah, but hybrid can also be what? Then you explain what hybrid in this context is. You just operationalize the word hybrid, so that it doesn't sound like it's half talk, half action kind of thing, right? So it's not about hybrid between talking and action. They are all ulama, so to say, and you're focusing on that one, right? And especially in your sampling, you're sampling ulamas basically. You're not sampling ulamas from this group, right? Yeah,
it's just a way of sourcing them. It's a way of finding the ulamas.
Yes. So, in your description of the sampling, this is a bit cheating, but it helps you, right? If you do not want to tell lies because dapat dosa and all that, I don't want to listen to that part. But it's we do not want to. We do not want to make the WhatsApp group as the centrality of the research is not the WhatsApp group. That's the essence that we want to. You want to when you rearrange your wordings, right? The centrality is not the WhatsApp group. It's the commoning, the whatever, a lot of good things are happening here. So it's not the WhatsApp group. But the WhatsApp group come in very handy in terms of sharing knowledge, in terms of logistics, helping each other. So that is where it comes in. So I think you get the point there, right? Okay. So you just want to go through your thesis, because the WhatsApp part is a big part of your thesis, right? So you just got to come through, right?
Okay, just put it in the background.
No, just put it in the background, but you come through, right?
Okay.
All right, let's go through. And this is the major change that you need to do, by the way, in your work. The rest are, I think, are very minor. Okay, let's scroll down a bit more. No, 20 interviews there. 20 interviews, go up, back. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's good. 20 interviews were, go down. There. 20 interviews were chosen out of 23 interviews. Okay. And you give your justification why you have 23 interviews, right? So,
or should I just not talk about the other three that...
Yes, you do not talk about the other 23. Yeah, you don't talk about the other 23. So you want to use the idea of saturation point, which I think you did not discuss. Yeah. So saturation point, this true for people who are doing qualitative research and involving informants and participants, a lot of informants. When you do purposive sampling, right? Saturation point is the point where you continue to interview or research, you find the same patterns emerging. That's saturation, right? So it is an important point for you to note if you're doing qualitative. It's very relevant for like Rajiv, like I think Lee, you're doing also qualitative partly, right? Yeah. So saturation point will come in important because you're doing interview and all that, right? I think Yefeng, you're also doing that, right? So saturation point must be discussed as to the point where you stop, right? So usually, usually the number is not a rounded number as 20, it's like 21, 22, right? Usually because I think it's like just nice, but it's okay, this is not a problem. But usually, because it's just 20, it's just too perfect.
19 is it?
19, 21, because you have the interviews in your data, you cannot remove them. They were, I'm here to help you. This is what Norman Blakey, I'm not sure you wrote in the book, but I think there's something called reconstructive research. So after your research, you reconstruct the methodology, the description of the research, so that it sounds like a research, right? Like a clean research. Usually research is not clean in the sense that, flow step by step, systematically. It's so iterative, change here, you change there, right? And then you have something else here also, Sama, right? I interview one, lama. Thank God I detected that, and it's like, okay, you want to delete that, I think you know. Whom I met out of common interest, the ulam topic. Right? So, okay, do you have no ulama here, right? This is not a member of a group or a person interested in ulam, but a farmer, or this is my own note, right? So I think you just I'll delete that sentence or quote, right? Okay, here is where the part about the sampling and all that is actually the major part that needs improvement and change, right? So you need to poke through and make sure that. All right. On the two methodologies, so you said the two methodologies that have captured my attention are phenomenology and abductive research, right? So phenomenology actually falls under the abductive research strategy. So that you can still call them two methodology, but you need to know that phenomenology is one of the purest form of abductive research. But abductive research can have other methodology as well. So like grounded theory can be under abductive research, right? But it depends on how grounded theory is done. Grounded theory can also be inductive. Grounded theory can also be retroductive, depending how it is done. So sometimes people get confused because grounded theory is known to be inductive. Well, if it's done differently, like what you're doing, Mutadi, right? So grounded theory can be retroductive too.
Can be,
because if it's done in a way that construct the different conditions, the core, and then you find the why behind it, it becomes retroductive. So that you understand that point, right? Although phenomenology as a methodology, it's not from the social sciences, which is interesting. It's from philosophy, right? Phenomenology is a philosophy. So, but again, philosophy is the mother of all knowledge. Right?
Phenomenology started from philosophy and go into anthropology.
Anthropology, science.
The first one is Hegel.
That's right.
Phenomenology of the spirit.
Yes.
That's book.
And Husserl is another one. That's right. Edmund Husserl. So, I'm talking about philosophy. Last time, all knowledge was integrated under philosophy, right?
Yes.
And now, philosophy has been left to the smallest part of it. You know that in Malaysia we do not have a philosophy major anymore, except for USM. So Zul, right, he defended philosophy as a major, and in fact incentivizes people to take philosophy by rebating them, right?
I think
it's very important, of
very
course.
important, especially
Very
in Islamic philosophy.
Yes, so it's exactly integrated. Now after they left, a new vice chancellor came in, they integrate with Islamic philosophy and the Eastern civilization,
Yes,
whatever.
yes.
So, whereas I think philosophy should be stand alone. But anyway, so there's some other point there. All right, the other part, right, that I think this is not major, but you do need to explain is bracketing.
Okay.
That bracketing. What did I say here? Explain further this, my language there. This research, okay, I'll explain further how this research has carried out, how this research has carried out bracketing procedure or process, beginning, during, and after data collection. Again, bracketing, there are many ways of doing bracketing, but the safest one is to do the beginning, during, and after. So, one of my qualitative research presentation, and I was looking with it just now with Hanif, I'm not sure where it is, but let me just explain that so that you all can briefly understand what the bracketing is. Basically bracketing, the whole process of bracketing and abductive research and phenomenology in this case, is to remove our biases for the data collection, basically. So how do you remove your biases in the data collection? So there are many different ways. For bracketing at the beginning is some example is where you can do self-reflection of your own biases, right? The other one is to actually to engage with a focus group of your peers, and where you have that discussion with your peers, and peers here can be experts, peers here can be those people who are part of this research, right? And have a discussion, and then you actually have a discussion, and through that discussion, see this is where the reflexive thinking comes in, and then you become aware of your own thoughts and constructs and biases, and you bracket it up. So you identify your own thoughts and identify those thoughts of biases earlier on before you engage the social actors, and you write it in the methodology or in the data collection. So it can be in chapter 3 or chapter 4 onwards. So at the beginning you have that. So this is an attempt to become very pure, right? This is where the social scientists attempt to be scientists, right? They go in with a clean mind and a blank slate, and just collect the data that's relevant. Yeah.
Can you give me an example?
So example, you could go with a focus group, right? A focus group can be like 3% or something, but then it's like post research. But you can probably reflect at the beginning again, right? Go back to the beginning stage where you have your initial thoughts about the ulam group. What were your thoughts in your ulam group? So you can still be sincere about that. I'm a believer of being sincere, because I think PhD and Masters is almost like a pilgrimage, right? Because I've seen people who, whatever they fear, it will appear, during the Bible. I've seen that, right? I've seen that happening. Although like Hajj is a spiritual, but this is like intellectual pilgrimage. So be sincere about it. So you can do that self-reflection at the beginning stage when you started the ulam group. You have some certain thoughts, initial thoughts. So that can be the bracketing. So you at the beginning you can, it's a description of your thoughts basically. I have like 3 different constructs of ulam, or 3 different ways I look at ulam. Yeah? So I bracket it out in my research. So basically identifying your own thoughts, right? So the own thoughts can be coming up from a discussion and can also be from your own reflection. So so that's one. Right? The other part is when you are doing, so that's beginning. During is when you are doing your data collection, you are doing a reflection while you're doing your data collection. So when you say, or different people were saying different things, in your mind you say, how about that? How about this? How about, you think that the weeds can also be ulam, and I was thinking, what? I'm eating grass as ulam right now. Or I'm not a rabbit. I don't eat everything that grows as green or whatever. I'm just but that's one of them, right? It's the eating the weeds is also eating grass, almost like that, right? I don't know.
There is an eating grass group. I call them the makan rumput group.
Makan rumput group, I mean that's so I mean some of you guys who, right, Lia and all that, I think Lambin or whatever, right? When you eat ulam, it's like you feel like eating grass or something, right? So these are the initial thoughts. If you're doing bracketing, that's the initial thoughts, right? So the bracketing also happens during data collection. So you want to have one section. It doesn't have to be long. Just like a couple of paragraphs would be enough, unless you have a lot of thoughts going on. So in a way, you can see phenomenology. That part of phenomenology resembles ethnography. Although ethnography will put their thoughts into the write-up, phenomenology or abductive research bracket it out, put it outside. There's a difference there. So you see the point too, right? So we are bringing, ethnographers will bring their thoughts into the data, right? For instance, I see the chieftain of the, I see the village chiefs were just nodding, right? That means he's giving his approval to whoever, this is the ethnographer on thoughts, right? So the person can put into the data description or not, but abductive research, no, we bracket it out and put it outside from the social actors' meanings, right? So there's a bracketing out. So also at the end, after the data collection, right? So after the data collection, it can be a reflection of the beginning and the end. So it's like it's almost like a reflection of of your revisiting your prejudices, your biases, but you bracket it up. Right.
I thought bracketing meant like you are selecting the parts of the data which are relevant.
Not in this context. We are talking about bracketing your thoughts. Okay. Yeah, you actually did that as one of your bullet points somewhere. Kind of remember you have the word bracketing somewhere there, right? Yeah. It's in your bullet point or whatever.
Segmenting the data into
You're sampling or something. I think. Yeah, you did that. So
bracketing and coding,
Yeah, bracketing coding. Yeah. So.
Sorry, brother.
Yeah.
So it's fully our thought. No.
Fully our thought. Yeah. Bracketing, but it could be some other people's thoughts, but your thoughts. That's where the focus group come in.
But we can possibly get the local language from the respondent, right?
I'm not sure. So bracket. What do you mean? What do you mean?
The bracketing is our thought, right?
Your thoughts.
Reflecting from the analysis.
Yes. So yeah. So when you listen to what the social actors or the participants or informants, whatever you want to use. By the way, you want to make it standardized. You use informant, make it informant, participant. Right? Usually participant is in some kind of project or experiment. So you have thoughts about their thoughts,
Oh, I see. Yes.
right? So bracketing it out. So that will be during the data collection, right? So you ask me the question, is okay, it's your own thoughts, but it can be other people's thoughts too. That will be at the beginning. So you can kind of like a focus group, right? Before you start, or a conversation, a dialogue, right? This is not necessarily, you're not doing a random sampling or whatever, it's just getting people to help you bring out your biases, right? So people will say, oh, see, your thought, you have this bias or whatever, you have that thought. In the conversation, it helps to bring out our thoughts too. Yeah. So one of the strategies to bracket our thoughts is to have discussion group. So it can be, focus group, discussion group, conversation, whatever. Right? So you will need to go back a couple of years to pick up to your initial thoughts. I think you do have initial thoughts before you start the group, right?
Yeah.
All right. So that's bracketing. So it's not major change. It's just insertion of discussion. It can be a couple of paragraphs you do as well. Right? So on generalizations. All right. After collecting the data through interviews, I shall apply data reduction techniques and analysis and develop some theoretical generalizations. So, because it's purposes sampling, we do not, in this context, cannot arrive at generalization, right?
Okay.
So, and generalization would imply representativeness in our sampling, right?
So it's more like getting insights, right?
Getting insight, emerging patterns, something like that. Emerging patterns, you can use theoretical or conceptual insights. Theoretical patterns, you can use those, but avoid the word generalization. And I know this is like technical, but it's sometimes little things.
The pitfalls.
Yeah. That's my job to help you to. Please note that I might just miss a couple of things as well. So hopefully, if you get the core right, inshallah, the rest will be fine. So the core, the clarity is okay. The last part. I'm not sure the last part yet, but it's the next important part is about theoretical contribution. All right. Use the phrase theoretical contribution many times. I'm telling you that. Okay. Whenever there's a wording construct or paradigm or discovery that connects to a theory, you use it. Just use it, right? Your findings are rich with theoretical contributions, so use it. Okay. But for you all as well, your discussion about theoretical contribution should be a thick discussion. Right? This is where you want to really go deep and over here we say goreng, so you want to chow as many as you just keep on churning out different things out of your right? Goreng is that. So we use the word in Malaysia fry, but then not to applicable with the Arab culture, I guess. I'm not sure. You want to churn out as many contributions as possible. So each character type represents a phenomenological theorizing of an ulama. So state it in many different ways. That is a theoretical contribution, right? Consider using typologies and conceptual typologies instead of types, right? So hence making it more theoretical. Table of strengths and proclivities. Maybe you can go there with there's a table, a search for the table in
the thesis.
In the thesis, sorry, yeah. Did I copy paste here? No, it's yeah. This is because this is a important part that is not being highlighted. Can you do a search?
Table. Search for table. Search for the word table.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's better, okay. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Oh, 243, oh my
Alamak,
goodness.
okay.
Okay.
Table of strength, just that, table of strength. Of strength.
I don't think.
There's no.
Okay, let me, okay.
Yeah, because, oh, you know why? Because the word vegetable. Yeah, so table by itself.
Oh, yeah, vegetable, right? Okay, it's, I can have such a, yeah. Because I just, alright, page, I found it. Page, 161.
One, six.
There, yeah, you got a table there. Okay, this is for theorizing, this is a work of art. So you got to make it into a masterpiece, right? This is a theoretical masterpiece. So so if you look at this one, I think you use the word. Oh no, so this is number typologies is a type. So instead of type, you replace the word typology. But of course, you don't replace it just here. You got to replace down there too, right? Come through, right? So the typologies itself is actually a theorizing, right? So
don't say character or character typologies or just
character typologies can use that, or I think you're a wordsmith too, so you can use you know how to play around with words too. So yeah, but this is not just playing around with words because we are theorizing. So theory building is about words, So typology. So suddenly you have discovered I don't know how many here, six typologies, and their corresponding proclivities, right? There. So that is a theoretical contribution, right? By the way, when you do something like this, each of these can be a contribution too, right? So the ecosystem thinkers, right? There might be literature about ecosystem whatever, right? So you can actually connect to literature if you want to, but it would be good if you want to, right? So that is a theory, each of this is a theoretical contribution. So you want to repeat many times theoretical contribution, right? So after a while, the examiner says, "Well, this is very good. There are a lot of theoretical contribution." You know what I mean? So, and it's true. You're not cheating. It's real, right? Because that's the power of adaptive research. Usually, you will arrive at some theoretical contribution because it's original, right? It's original, right? And you can create your own words. You can create your own constructs, right? So, so that's the strength. So, you have this one, and you have another one. So each of these can be a theoretical contribution. So the garden crowd. So there's something called the house crowd people. I think there's and seekers of remedies. About this can connect to this TCM folks too, right? Because you're connecting to this part. So the herbalists as well, right? So this is I tell you, this is a masterpiece, and it's just not just one painting. It's like 6 different paintings. By the way, you want to look at good paintings, Parodi is a guy. Parodi showed me his painting, Impressionist painting. Wow, I think you should show me something, Parodi. So that's one. The other one, let me search for you. The point here is that the ulam, you have the ulam dualities, figure 7, ulam dualities,
Figure 7.
figure 7, which is, yeah,
Figure 7.
yeah.
Well, maybe just look
No,
for
just
the
fig 7, FIG, yeah. By the way, those things are, you need to standardize them too. Sometimes you have fig,
figure.
and I think, fig 7, there will be
Maybe it's just up
up above or somewhere there.
反正你说一开始就还是从我的用比较好，一开始，但是我一般比较喜欢用 WPS，因为玩的这边的我
okay,
Is it the one?
106, page 106,
功能上还是
figure 17, yeah.
Figure 7, 17, sorry, not 7, sorry, 17. Yeah, 17, yeah.
17.
There, okay, yeah. Alright.
有点多。
This figure, by the way, guys, if you all have figures, make sure you explain it, right? Yeah, make sure you explain the figures. Why is it direction this way, not direction the other way? You got to explain the arrows and all that. So this is another one, right? So you have each of these is actually a theoretical contribution too, right? So you can So what you want to do at the end there, right? You can say this thesis has 73 different theoretical contributions or different theoretical constructs slash contribution, which is true, it's not fake, it's real, right? So so this is an example that you want to highlight. So make your theory, the discussion part, usually for you all will be chapter 5, not chapter 6, but Kusama has 10 chapters, it's a different story. Alright, okay. So, alright, still on this part, we've got to flip back to my comments there. So,
我办了卡，还没买套餐呢。现在
So how do we connect to theorizing and theoretical contribution? The point here is that, so how does the theorizing that emerge from this research change or challenge, extend and confirm or transform the existing theories and literature? Right? I'm just giving some keywords there. So sometimes the theorizing change or challenge the existing literature. Sometimes it extend, meaning the literature has only A, B, C, you're providing D, F, G, H, I, sometimes it transforms the whole literature, right? That farmers are not necessarily whatever, but or transform the literature into, say, the idea of commoning as becoming more whatever, you can talk about that. Or you talk about a new paradigm, bartering, which I see a lot happening there, and bartering and sharing. So this is how. So when you all are doing discussion about the theory, ask that question: how does it change the theory or challenge the theory, extend the theory or confirm the theory, or transform the theory? Alright, and then on tables and figures, label them, right? Example, some additional meanings ascribed to ulam, not label. So you want to label them. Please make them correspond to the chapter. So instead of listing them, so 4.2, 4.3, 5. If it's under the chapter, put under the chapter, right? That's usually the convention, by the way. If they originate from your research, then state clearly current research, or you could even put your name there, whatever. Alright. And finally, I think on thickness of finding strength of theorizing and viva readiness. The findings from this research has reached a PhD level. It is really good. It shows originality in its empirical work as well as theory building. Its base is strong and solid to go into viva. With the improvements, it is ready to be submitted. So yeah, congratulations.
Sorry.
Yes. And as I said, it has reached a PhD level. You know, this should be a PhD work instead of just master, by the way. But well.
They have to do another 20 interviews.
Yeah. Or change it to something as well. Yeah. Okay. It is quite sayang because you missed just one day, right? This is, Kusama have done a PhD research, so we missed one day, just one day, because the deadline was a Sunday or Saturday or something like that, right?
Because the date kept shifting, so then after that, by the time we did it, it was
This
like,
one day, yeah. Raji had the same situation, Raji?
2 months, bro.
Oh, 2 months, you missed 2 months. But Raji, you have justification because it was COVID time.
Yeah,
But they did not accept your justification.
but IBS still rejected.
IBS had
request.
rejected because at that time it's COVID, you cannot go home to collect the data you wanted.
Yes.
So you changed the research, right? So IBS, you have accepted it.
Yeah. The data collection also was quite difficult, right?
Yes. So you miss it just by two months.
2 months.
So Raji could have done a PhD instead of a master. Right. So likewise, Hanif, your case because IPS is going crazy right now. So they raised the standard to a crazy standard. I think.
The progress?
They changed the system now.
They changed the goalpost.
Not like the previous one. It was-
So they are like politicians right now. No? They promise one thing, at the end it's not true, right? Maybe not politician in China because politician in China they say they do it, right? you don't follow, you disappear. That's good. That's a good government, I tell you. No more all electric motorbikes in Beijing, right? It changes, right? In Beijing now they have all electric motorbikes.
Oh,
bikes, right?
Right, electric bikes, right? Yeah.
Not only in Beijing.
Not only in Beijing.
Most of China.
Yeah. They do it in just how long did it take to do it? 1 month, 2 months before Olympics and stuff, right? You cannot do it in a democratic country like Malaysia. There'll be a that's where we have revolution. We start a revolution. In Indonesia, you do that, you have revolution.
Once our governments want to do something,
They do it.
yeah, they do
That's the good
it. They
thing.
can finish in a
Now
very
there's a
short time.
cat government there. Here we have a Rosak Dani government, Malas Dani government, never Madani government. Not as yes. The pipe burst here, burst there. Okay. Where